I listen to every Supertramp album, so you don't have to. Now I'm going to review and rank them. First, the self-titled album. It's got a weird flower guy on the front, and it's not available in many places. That's because it's not very good. It's pretty boring. It's prog rock, except without the parts where it builds up into something cool. It just stays in the interludes the whole time, except maybe a little in the middle of Try Again, which I would say is a standout song of the album. It's got a guitar solo in the middle, but it is 12 minutes long, so you have to weigh those against each other. This one is going into D tier for me. I saw in the community rankings that it was higher. Don't care, I don't like it. Second, Indelibly Stamped. I removed the album art on this one because I find it overly salacious and not appropriate for my channel. Search it up at your own discretion. This one is better. It's a marked improvement from the first one. They have more melodic stuff going on, cooler choruses. Rosie Had Everything Planned would probably be my standout, and Aries. I liked Aries. It's longer. Again, I do kind of like the prog ones where it builds up. This one actually builds up into cooler stuff. Nothing as big as their later albums. None of the songs stand out as much as their later albums, but there is some good stuff going on here that there wasn't before. This is still not a super great album and not worth listening to if you don't already like Supertramp. So this one is going into C tier because it's better than the first one, but it's not that great. Crime of the Century, 1974. This is their first commercially successful album. It makes sense. It's way better than the first two. It's their most Pink Floyd-esque album, if you like Pink Floyd or Rush or that kind of stuff. School and Rudy are my top two songs from this album. Those are just about worth listening to if you haven't heard Supertramp before, but they're not the best starting point. I will get to that. Rudy, my top song, because somewhere in the middle near the end it just breaks out into some big instrumental stuff. The breakdown on that one is excellent, and that's my favorite part of any Supertramp song, is when they have a really good breakdown. Probably If Everyone Was Listening is the weakest song on the album, but definitely worth listening to and listening through. So Crime of the Century is going into A tier for me. I wouldn't put it in S tier because there's better stuff, and I am ranking these as albums overall, not just among Supertramp's discography. Otherwise, these two would be in F tier if it was just for Supertramp, and this would be S tier. Overall, A tier album, worth listening to. If you like Pink Floyd, start with this one. Fourth, Crisis, What Crisis, 1975. This one, the album art describes the album perfectly. There's a couple good songs and then everything else is gray and boring. So this one, it's not worth listening to the whole album for me. They dropped a lot of the prog rock feeling, and this is when they get into the real art pop genre that most of their music is. Top two songs for this one are Soapbox Opera and Another Man's Woman, which are 4 and 5 right in the middle, and then Sister Moonshine is decent. The rest of the songs are pretty bland and not too much is going on. And my trend of liking the longest song on the album continues. I do think Another Man's Woman is the best one. This is where the lyrics start getting better. They were pretty good on Crime of the Century. They start getting much better on Crisis, What Crisis, and that's going to keep continuing to a point, and then it's going to decline again. But they're on the upswing. This is a slight regression, but it's a good album. I'm going to put it in B tier. That brings us to Even in the Quietest Moments, the fifth album, 1977. This is an excellent album. The album art, again, describes it really well because they have a lot of cool sort of cold piano sounds, if you know what I mean by that, with the wide chords with a lot of spacing, and it feels cold and nice. Give a Little Bit is on this album. That's one of those songs where if you're not familiar with the band, you may have just heard it on the radio and you can connect with it. Fool's Overture, also pretty good. top two are going to be Give a Little Bit and Fool's Overture. Other than that, it's not really worth listening to everything on this one, but it's got a cool, unique sound that they don't really go back to on any of their other albums. So if you do end up liking Supertramp, the whole thing is worth listening to. And that puts Even in the Quietest Moments, for me, as a B-tier album. It has an S-tier song with Give a Little Bit, but the album is not strong enough to move it higher than B-tier. It just doesn't have enough in it. It feels almost incomplete. And now we're on to the really good stuff, because it is, of course, Breakfast in America, the most commercially successful Supertramp album, and for good reason. This is just my favorite Supertramp album. This is going to be an S-tier album for any band. 1979. It's really, they've lost the prog rock sound. It's all just art pop, but it works so well. Top song for me is Goodbye Stranger, but if I want to list all the ones that I like and would listen to again, I would just list every song on the album except Casual Conversations on the B-side. It's an amazing album. The guitar solo on Goodbye Stranger, the saxophone solo on The Logical Song, those are two songs you've probably heard before, even if you don't know the band. Take the Long Way Home is excellent. Child of Vision is a really cool way to end it. The lyrics on this one tell stories, and The Logical Song is one that people can connect with, and it's got a really cool flow with all of the rhyming in it. I could just sit there and listen to this entire album and my time would not be wasted. It's incredible. You should definitely listen to this one and start with this one, unless you're one of those people who just specifically likes prog rock, because I know that is a sort of subgenre of music enjoyers who just listen to prog rock. If you are that, start with Crime of the Century. Otherwise, Breakfast in America. This one is S tier. They're some of the best songs the band ever made. Famous Last Words, last album by Supertramp with Roger Hodgson, one of the founding members of the group. I like this one. I think it's a strong follow-up. It's fun to listen to. The deep cuts are good. Put On Your Old Brown Shoes, It's Raining Again, and C'est Le Bon are probably my top songs on this one. It weakens out at the end, but It's Raining Again is very catchy. Put On Your Old Brown Shoes has one of those really good breakdowns near the end. Some of the bridges on this one are just really nice. That's going to be a recurring theme moving forward, but this is, Supertramp has peaked at this point, and they're moving towards the downswing. I think there's too much on it that's boring to put it in A tier. So this is also a B-tier album, but I would put it above Even in the Quietest Moments, because there are more good songs on it than either of the other two albums in the B-tier. Brother, Where You Bound? Supertramp is beginning their decline. It starts off really strong with Cannonball, which has a ton of syncopated rhythms and overlapping different instrumentation that comes in and out. It's a really good song. It's the best song on the album. And then pretty much everything else is not worth listening to at all, except Brother, Where You Bound. If you like prog rock, this is their last good prog rock song. It's got all of the stuff that you want. It's got the long, quiet interludes. It's got the samples of news broadcasts. It's got the epic guitar riff that just comes in out of nowhere when you're like 10 minutes in. The rest, not worth anyone's time. It's weird because they tried to go more pop than they have before, but it doesn't really balance out with the rest of their style, and they're left with basically garbage. So this is a C-tier album. Cannonball is an S-tier Supertramp song. This is a C-tier album. Free as a Bird, this is where I'm going to get a little bit of controversy because I really like this album. 1987. On this one, different sound completely. They went total synth pop. I don't know why AllMusic would say anything about this being prog rock. It doesn't sound like that at all. It's just its own weird Supertramp brand of pop music. Top songs for me: Where I Stand With You, An Awful Thing to Waste, pretty good. I mean, the choruses on this one, Where I Stand With You, gets stuck in my head all the time for some reason. It's got those really 80s sounding, like Genesis style drums where it's just, that's so nice. It's Alright is pretty good. There are a couple songs on the B-side, You Never Can Tell with Friends and Thing for You Not, super great. I'm Begging You, also good though. So the nice thing about it is you can just jam. It's just fun, and it keeps moving, but the bad songs on it, there's a difference between really boring bad music where you can just play it and you don't have to turn it off, and bad music where it keeps going and they think it's better than it is, and then you want to turn it off because it starts bugging you. The line is Toad in Free as a Bird. So that puts the album, for me, highest of the B tier because it's not up to the standard of Crime of the Century, but I like a lot of the songs, and I like a lot of the songs better than the ones on the other albums. Controversial, but I did recommend this one to a friend who also enjoyed it for similar reasons to me, so I might have found something here. Now, some things never change. They are wrong. Some things change. This one is just slow jazz. They're kind of jamming around for a while, so the album's really long. And this one is not very fun to listen to. I have to say, when I got to this point, I was not excited. The top songs, You Win, I Lose, which I like. I like the lyrics on it. I think they're cool. Other than that, Help Me Down That Road. That's pretty good. Say What? There's some stuff going on. They come in and out with the guitar. They're going into their jazz phase here, though. If you like Supertramp a lot, and I do, probably my favorite band. If you like them a lot, it's pretty good, and there's stuff you can find here, and I found that stuff. If you don't know anything about them, don't waste your time listening to this. D-tier album. Better than the first album because there are a couple points where it goes into something melodic, some cool idea they had, and their experience from all these other albums carries it through, but it has the same amount of garbage as the first album because it's so long. Not really that good. Last but also least, Slow Motion. This is 2002. It's too late. They don't have anything good left except for Gold Rush, which was actually written in the 70s anyway. Slow Motion is what it sounds like. It's slow. It's like the end credits, which is fitting because it's their last studio album. It's boring and bland. 10th Avenue Breakdown seems like it would be good, and then they say some weird stuff in the lyrics, and they don't really break it down like any of their other good breakdowns. This is the one and only F-tier album. I did not enjoy it and do not intend to listen to it very much in the future, even if I listen to several of their albums again, which I probably will. Overall, you can trace their arc from prog rock in the 70s to more and more pop-oriented, but they have these really big instrumentation arrangements that they've come up with, which are epic. Peaked with Breakfast in America. That's where their biggest hits were. Makes sense. Downhill from there, they just kept chugging on down until they came up with Slow Motion, which is just a jazz album. Tell me other music I should review. I should probably do 21 Pilots because they're probably my favorite duo. Maybe Rick Astley or something. Oh.